Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 29 of the Asian Football Show. I'm Erfan, joined as always by my good friends Arya and Kenta to discuss more of Asian football. This is our first episode since the new year. We had the live show at the end of last year, but since then, we've been on kind of a break, and there hasn't been much to discuss about in January, but now we're back. So, guys, how are you doing, Arya?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm excited to be back. Lots of stuff to talk about. Lots of exciting things to discuss with each other. Kenta, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. It's a new year and there's so much exciting stuff on the calendar for the upcoming 2025 schedule. So I'm really excited to see where this goes and to talk Asian football.
Very well. So I guess we'll just go and start off with the club competitions. Okay, we'll start with the AFC Champions League Elite West side now. Arya, can you just go through the standings of what happened in the West side?
Yeah, sure. So the standings, I have them in front of me. So the top eight to qualify are respectively are Al Hilal, Al Ahli, Al Nasser. So we got an all three Saudi side going through, just completely dominating the West side. We've got Al Sadd from Qatar, Al Wasl, Erfan's Esteghlal, Al Rayyan, and Pakhtator Tashkent from Uzbekistan. And then we've got Persepolis nearly missing out. We got Al Gharafa, Al Short, and Al Ain, which I'm sure we're going to be talking about again, of just how disappointing they have been. A minus 11 goal difference with 2 points only. I think is just tragic, man. I mean, they're the reigning champs, and well, not anymore. Um, they're going to be dethroned in just a bit. So yeah, it's an interesting one.
Yeah, Kenta, before we move on to the results, can you just go on and talk more about Al Ain and how disappointed you are in their performance? Because they're the only team in the West side that didn't get a win. I mean, you have Al Shorta who won against them. Pakhtakor even got a win in the last match day, but Al Ain, they just didn't even get a single win.
Yeah, obviously not getting a win in 8 matches in league play is really, really embarrassing. And you compound that with the fact that they're the reigning champs. That just isn't ideal. And obviously, like with this team, like they're gonna be in the US this summer, representing AFC as a at the Club World Cup. And the expectations, not just with LA, there's other teams within AFC that are coming into this very disappointing and in poor form. One particular team from the East, but it's very concerning to see how they're going to perform at the Club World Cup too. Champions League for them, it's already in the rear view mirror, like it's already done. They're eliminated. I think there's got to be some internal talks at this point because that Club World Cup could be really, really bad if this is how you're performing at the AFC Champions League in the group stage.
Yeah, and there's been some rumors in the UAE that Al Ain are planning to loan some players from other UAE sides for the Club World Cup. We'll see how that gets on. Okay, so going through the results of match day 7 and 8. Al Ain lost 2-1 to Al Rayyan at home. Disappointing. Esteghlal also were kind of disappointing here. They drew 1-1 to Al Shorta at home in front of over, I think, 60 to 70,000 fans. And then Assad lost 3-1 to Al Ahli of Saudi. Al Nasser won 4-0 against Al Wasl. Al Hilal destroyed Persepolis 4-1. Just Saudi domination like we've seen throughout this tournament. Al Gharraf also defeated Pakhtakor 1-0 at home. Um, Okay, Arya, I want you to talk about Persepolis, not only this performance, but also about their performance in the whole competition.
Yeah, they've been slightly disappointing. I also think they've been unlucky. Let's put bias aside. I think they've been pretty unlucky because like I watched all their games and they weren't that bad, to be honest with you. They weren't a horrible side. I mean, it's just the problem with that team, and I think it's a reoccurring problem with Persepolis and even Estelle, to be honest, is just they can't finish their chances. Like they create a lot of chances, they just can't finish any of them, which is a problem. Obviously, when you're in these tournaments, you gotta score those chances that you create. A part of me kind of does feel bad because like I would have loved to see two rating sides go into this, and I mean they're not doing too well, or they haven't been doing too well in the PGPL either. That same sentiment goes towards Estelle. Also, it's two sides that have been struggling. Persepolis have been a bit better league wise. Estelal have been better Champions League wise. So it's kind of funny to see how that turns out. But yeah, it's just not good enough really when you're at this stage. And they've got the players for it. I mean, they don't have the Ronaldos or the Riyad Mahrez or the Sadio Manes, but they've had a pretty productive transfer window. And I know you told me to talk about Persepolis, but it's same goes for Istanbul, right? I mean, they've just recently signed Joe Kojo, the Kyrgyz international, and Persepolis have bought Serdar Dursun, the Turkish international, as well. So it's not like they haven't been making any moves, but we're just gonna have to wait and see. But they're kind of in this rebuilding phase. I mean, Istanbul have been sacking managers left and right, buying new, or not buying, but getting new managers, players leaving, players coming in. It's they're kind of in this rebuilding phase, and that's just not going to work out when you're in a tournament like this, in the middle of a tournament like this. But I'm excited to see what you guys think about that.
Yeah, I'll go through the match day results before I give my opinions. So Paktakor beat Assad 2-1. That was Paktakor's first win, a great win for them. Assad did send kind of a rotated side since they had guaranteed qualification, and Paktakor used that to their advantage in Tashkent, and they managed to qualify. Ashorta beat Al Ain 2-0, and it was mostly a friendly game because both teams had already been eliminated. But yet they got their first and only won the competition. Persepolis very, very disappointingly drew an extremely rotated Al Nassr side, 0-0. Al Nassr had didn't play any of their star players. Ronaldo didn't travel. Duran, Laporte, Mane, all these guys didn't even start, and it was a younger side with mostly local players, and in front of I think it was 75,000 fans. You'd be expecting them to win this sort of game, but Al Nassr had the better chances, and Persepolis fans are disappointed, and rightly so. I know Ismail Kartal, it's only been like, what, 20, 25 days since he came to Iran. But with a manager who has that much experience, I kind of expected a bit more. I mean, they looked better playing under their interim manager, Karim Bagheri. But I don't know, like Arya said, time will tell what will happen. And then Al Ahly, another Saudi side, beat Al Gharafa 4-2. Al Hilal beat Al Wasl 2-0. And then Istiqlal beat Al Rayan 2-0. And wow, that was one of the best nights of my life. So, Kenta, do you have anything to say about these games, about the West side?
Um, yeah, obviously I caught some of the Istiklal match. It was a very impressive match and a very deserved one, a very important one for them to be able to move on. Um, I'm as a whole, outside of Valain, obviously incredibly disappointing in this West. Like none of these teams were that surprising, I think, in terms of where they ended up in the table. I'm not like overly shocked. I think there are a bit more surprises over in the East than in the West. I think the West played out kind of how you expected it to be. Um, yeah, not too many surprises in my opinion.
I don't know if we want to talk about Al Ain of because I just have to keep emphasizing on how poor they've been. Is this like the worst reigning champs that we've seen so far in AFC Champions League history? Because 2 points is they haven't won a single game. They haven't won a single game. Like what's going on?
I mean, I can't think of any. Maybe back in Al Hilal back in no, actually they weren't champions that year, so no, I can't remember. I think this is the worst performance, yeah, of a defending champion. Yeah. Okay, so I want to talk about the Esteghlal game. As an Esteghlal fan, um, all we needed was a draw and to qualify for the next round. We would have faced Al Hilal if we drew, but the new signing came in clutch, Mohamed Reza Azadi. Saleh Ardani, just great signings in the winter transfer window. Kojo and Mashripov were injured, but they will be back for the knockout stages. And yeah, to win against an Al Rayyan side with Guedes, Trezeguet, Victor, and they have some very good names. I think it was an impressive thing to do. So yeah, I'm very happy with that. Okay, let's move on to the East region, Kenta. Will you do the honors of taking us through the standings?
I sure can. All right. So obviously the first and most important thing to address here is one team not playing their final match, say, and eliminating themselves automatically. So depending on, I know different apps have this table written very differently. I'm going to go off of what I have here on my phone, but just note that Shanghai Taishan might be listed as 0 points in some. They technically played 7 matches, but some apps are going to remove all their matches, all their points, which is fine. Um, the teams that qualified. Three J League teams. Yokohama F. Marinos finished top of the table. Kawasaki Frontale finished second. You had JDT, Guangzhou in third and fourth, with Vissel Kobe, the third J League team, finishing in fifth. Then you have some surprises here in Buriram United, Shanghai Shenhua, and then Shanghai Port ending all the qualified teams, leaving Pohang, Steelers, Ulsan HD, and Central Coast as the three teams eliminated alongside Shandong Taishan. Um, yeah, any thoughts initially just based off of the teams who qualified and didn't qualify?
Just disappointed in the Korean teams, to be honest. That's all I can say. Pohang, um, they're one of the most decorated teams in this competition. Ulsan, not very HD anymore, you know. So, and then Central Coast Mariners, I know they were the AFC Cup champions last season, but the expectations from Australian teams aren't as much as they were before, so not really surprising there. Arya?
Yeah, I was gonna talk about the Korean teams. I think you've made the point there. Yeah, it's a little bit weird here. I would like to give a pretty big shout out to JDT and Buriram United. I think they were very, very good. They played out of their minds. I know Kento watched this side of the table a lot more than we have at fun, but I've seen the highlights of most of these games. Obviously, I follow Mr. Kobe to an extent. Yeah, Buriram United and GDT are the teams that caught my eye. I think they were very, very good. Kenta, would you like to add more about that?
Yeah, those two teams were big surprises for sure. I think JDT in particular, they played very well. I don't think they were out of any of the matches that they performed in, so it's very good. And to your point about Central Coast, I briefly talked about this when I was on an Australian podcast recently, where their roster construction rules. It's one of those conversations where they're very similarly built to how MLS is built here in the U.S., where the league owns all the teams. There's the hard salary cap, and that when you're a successful team, that incentive it just makes it difficult to be able to maintain all the players that were on your team that were successful when you were playing. So it's one of those things. I think the system of the A League and just the structure of the league over there hurt those teams from being able to compete in the following year after they qualified for a Champions League format competition as they have. So I think that's a really unfortunate situation for Central Coast, but they did manage a draw. So they aren't coming home empty-handed, but it is very disappointing for them. I'll briefly go through the results here, starting in match day 7. Central Coast played host to JDT, where they lost 2-1 at home. Vissel Kobe won 4-0 at home against Port. Uh, Pohang Steelers hosted Kawasaki Frontale, lost 4-0 at home. Shandong beat Guangzhou at home 3-1. Yokohama F. Marinos beat Shenhua at home 1-0. And then Buriram United won 2-1 against Ulsan HD to close out that match day. And match day 8, the final match day, Guangzhou and Buriram drew 2-2. Kawasaki Frontale at home beat Central Coast 2-0. JDT won 5-2 against Pohang Steelers. Shenhua beat Vissel Kobe, a very rotated Vissel Kobe side 4-2 at home. And then the Port hosted Yokohama F. Marinos at home in a 2-0 loss. And then, of course, the Ulsan match was postponed against Shandong because one team forfeited.
We actually know the reason as to why they forfeit. Because
Yeah,
what I saw on Twitter, and I'm not sure. I want to discuss this here with you guys. People were comparing this situation with what happened with the Sepahan. What was that Saudi team they played? I can't
Al
remember.
Ittihad.
Al Ittihad. Was it similar to that, or was it completely different? Because that's what I'm seeing all over Twitter.
So there are contradicting reports.
Yeah.
The official reason was that the players from Shandong Taishan were infected with this new virus in China. So it was medical reasons. They just didn't have enough players to play. That was the official reason they submitted to the AFC. They released a statement on their website, and that was the letter they sent. But yeah, like you said, there were maybe some political aspects as well, with some banners that the Chinese fans or the Korean fans were holding. I think I don't remember exactly from the previous AFC game, and there might have been some contacts from the embassy telling them not to play. It's very messed up. I don't want to get too political about it, but it's just sad. It's not right, and then that leaves the table in a very weird position where Pohang Steelers have been done very dirty, to be honest, because they've played 7 games, and Shanghai Port, Shanghai Shenhua, and Buriram, who are just above them, they've all played 8 games. So that's very sad for them because, and I don't think the AFC will do anything about it. I don't think anything can be done. Maybe um, they could have removed the results against the lowest ranked team. I know they've done this before in some other group rankings, but they didn't do that here. And yeah, they've just played one less game, which is disappointing.
There's one more thing I would like to add. Is we're talking about this side with a lot of Japanese teams going through. Um, I'm just saying it out here. I think you guys know where I'm going to go with this. Is Vissel Kobe there, Kawasaki Frontale there. Give us a few years. This team right here, Fukushima United. All right, we're gonna get there. Not only we're gonna dominate the ACL. I see Kenta dying there. Not only we're gonna dominate the East, we're coming to the West. We're destroying everyone. We're destroying Estella. We're destroying Christmas. We're going to be there. I will be the manager. I will be the man that brings this team to Asian glory. Thank you for listening to my TED talk, and let's continue.
This is ridiculous. This is just
We can
ridiculous.
all
He
dream.
has the football manager save, and he just thinks that's somehow, not fiction and it's gonna happen. And it's a fantasy that we're not
Listen,
gonna touch any further than
listen,
that.
listen, listen. I'll say one more thing. I signed Kai Havertz. He has 60 goals in like 50 games for Fukushima United. If that doesn't tell you just how much of a good player he is, then I don't know what will. He's just a goat.
And that's why it won't happen in real life. Okay, so we'll just move on to the knockout stages. The round of 16 matchups are now um, are done. Not done, but they are known. So I want you guys to give one just a quick fire prediction on which team you think will go to the next round. Okay, so first game, Paktika versus Al Hilal. I'll start. I think Al Hilal. This is pretty straightforward.
Yeah, Al Hilal. I think it's pretty. Sorry, Partator.
Yeah, I don't think I can sway from the popular vote here. Al Hilal.
Al Rayyan versus Al Ahli. I think Al Ahli will edges.
Al Ahly,
What
yeah.
do you guys think? Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. I will third. This is so boring, but yeah, I think I'll have to
yeah.
third.
Al Ahly might have the advantage if they qualify because the quarterfinals up until the final will be held in their home city of Jeddah. So
Oh,
they could be looking to win their
okay.
first title. Maybe we'll see. Esteghlal versus Al Nassr. I'll let you guys start for this. Arya.
Come on, bro. That's so freaking honest. Of course it says still low. I mean, what are we doing here? I mean, Ronaldo's scared. John Duran apparently is not playing the first game. I mean, let's just be honest here, bro. The aura of the Azadi Stadium is going to scare. Al Nasser is winning this. Let's just be honest here. Let's just move on.
Oh no,
SLL,
sir. Yeah, for sure.
SLR is not winning. I would
You
love
know,
for SLR to win, but unfortunately, my
you know
heart says
what?
SLR. My brain says Al Nasser.
You know what?
But
I'm gonna go with Esteghlal.
oh wow,
We might not have a
shock,
manager. We might not have a manager.
shock.
We might not have a manager, but we'll see. Trust the process. Okay, the next one is actually I think the hardest one to predict from
Yeah,
the west side. Al Wasl versus Al Sadd. I'm gonna go with that. Al
I'll
Sadd.
go
I'll
Al
go with Al
Wasso.
Sadd. You go with
Okay.
Al
Well,
Wasl.
yeah.
and
I'd
then
like Al
conflicted. I'm gonna go Al
Wasl.
Wasso.
I think the popular opinion would be Al Sad, but I'd like to see Al Wasl go through. Why not? Let's
I'd
do
love
it.
to see Al Wasl go through as well because they're UAE side, but they've just not been good in the league this season, man. I don't know. We'll see. East side, Port versus Yokohama. I'm gonna go with
Yeah,
Yokohama.
yeah. Same here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I have to go Yokohama if money for now. Yeah. We'll stick with the
Come on, man.
Uh,
Stop trying to be different, man. Come on.
Shanghai Shenhua versus Kawasaki. I think Kawasaki should be able to pull this off.
It'll be tough because you never know with these Chinese sides. That's the issue. There's times where like they're just gonna play out of their minds. So you never truly know. But I think Frontale should get the job done. But it's not as easy as people may think it would be. That's what I think.
I'm gonna go Kawasaki Frontale, but I want to add the fact that Shandwell beat Kawasaki Frontale in the group stage at
Yeah.
home. It was like a 2-0 result. Kawasaki Frontale had a red card in the match. It's a tough environment to play in.
Yeah.
Very tough environment to play in. Um, I think Kawasaki Frontale have enough quality on their team to be able to win over 2 legs, but it should be close.
Okay. Cool.
Boram United versus JDT. Ooh, an
This
exciting
one's
game.
this one's
Yeah.
a very interesting one, man. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. It could be any of the. I don't know. Is there even a favorite other than two, or is it?
Osmer losses Boram versus RFI Johor. Oof.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with JDT. Just purely based on the fact that they're hosting the second leg. I'm gonna go with JDT.
Oh, that's pretty important. That's true.
Yeah.
I'll let Kenta go because I don't know.
I'm gonna put you in the awkward spot. I'm gonna go Buriram then, just
Oh,
because
well,
Erfan went JDT. I'll include the fact that they also played head to head, and it was one of the wildest 0-0 draws I've ever watched in my life. If you go back to that match, it was
The
last
game was
year,
in
so it's probably like
Thailand, right?
it was at JDT, yes, and it was a 0-0
Oh,
draw,
I was
but there
okay.
was like 3 red cards, a penalty that got canceled through VAR. It was hectic. I'm expecting more of it. It's
Torimi
gonna be
2.0.
so fun to watch, so fun to watch. But yeah, I will go Buduram to put you on the spot here.
This is tough because I can't even base myself off of the last game because it ended in 0-0. So like I can't even be like, oh, maybe this team has a slight advantage. I don't know. I guess I guess the team that I would like to win. I guess that's what I'm gonna do here because I don't know if one is better than the other. That's the thing, and there's not much I can base myself off. Uh GDT winning would send Twitter in a frenzy. I'm not sure if I'm ready for that. Birmingham United, I really enjoyed watching them play. You know what, man? Screw it. Birmingham United. Whatever. Let's just go with them. There's no like actual basis as to why I'm going with them. Just Birmingham United. Let's
Just
just
the
move on.
vibes.
Yeah, it's just the vibes. It's the aura, you know.
The final game is Vissel Kobe versus Gwangju. Gwangju, who've had an amazing first campaign, by the way. Shout out to them. I forgot to mention that. But yeah, they'll be going up with Jasir Asani, who's the top scorer of the tournament as of now. And yeah, I'll go with Gwangju pulling off a surprise here. And yeah, that'll be my shock of the round. What do you guys think?
Okay. I'll stick with Vissel Kobe. They looked well when they played Guangzhou at home earlier this in the group stage, I think. Yeah, again, they have enough experience there.
I can't turn my back. I can't turn my back on Vissel Kobe. So no matter how poor they play, how well they play, I'm going with Vissel Kobe all the way. Let's go.
But you turned your back on Estaklal. Wow. Wow, Arya.
I said my heart says Vissel and my brain says. You have to be honest. If Vissel Kobe was
Okay, man.
playing, let's be honest. If Kobe was playing like Al Nasser or something, I would have said Al Nasser or something, you know. But you
We
gotta be
got the
realistic.
point, Arya. We got the point. It's fine.
Okay, good, good.
Okay, so moving on to the other club competition, the ACL2, the round of 16 took place. So let's go through them. In the West region, Al Khaldiya played against Traktor. Traktor won the first leg 2-1. And then in front of 70,000 fans in Tabriz, they only drew 3-3. Very horrible performance from Ayer Zaberov and Iran's starting goalkeeper there. I think Arya, you have something to say about that later on. And then Al Wakra versus Al Tawon. This was the tie of the tournament and of the round, in my opinion. 2-2 in both legs. And the second leg, Al Tawon was playing with 10 players from the beginning of the first half. But they managed to come back after being a goal down. Al Wakr got a 124th minute equalizer, which was insane. But it went to pens, and Al Tawan ultimately pulled it off. and they'll face Tractor. Al Wahdat lost 6-3 to Shab Al Ahly on aggregate. Sharjah and Al Hussein of Jordan drew 1-1 on aggregate, but Sharjah won 3-0 on penalties. Arya, anything you want to say? We can't hear you.
Their event
Yeah,
sucks.
okay.
That's what I want to say. Listen, well, we'll go through the games individually, but like, I don't think I've ever seen like a disconnect between the main team and the keeper in a very long time. The team was very good, but I don't know what Alireza Berivan was doing towards the end. He almost blew it. I think Tractor as a team had a very solid game despite the result, but you can't be doing that in a game of this caliber. And yeah, as you mentioned, I also did tweet out. I don't think Berivan should start for Iran anymore. I think that's long overdue as well. But that's a conversation for another day. Um, I guess we're gonna talk about the Shabab Al Ali game as well, which was geez, what a performance. Sanfrecce Hiroshima dominating that poor team from Vietnam, man. That's what, come on, that's just a massacre, man. That's just not fair at all. Um, Bangkok United and Sydney FC was a pretty good tie too. I like that. I enjoyed it as well. And as you mentioned, the penalty between Al Tawud and Al Bakr was very very interesting.
Yeah, and then continuing on to the last two results of the East region, Moncton United lost 7-2 on aggregate to Lawrence Crusaders. I watched their 4-0 win at home today. Very good performance, very good defensive performance, and attacking wise as well. And the side from Singapore look very good going into the quarterfinals. Jeonbuk defeated Port from Thailand 5-0 on aggregate to set up the quarterfinals. So, Kenta, any opinions you have on the East side, maybe about Sanfrecce Hiroshima?
I don't know if there's anything to say about something. Hiroshima, you won 7-0 across two legs. They just took care of business and they looked really good. Same thing about Jeonbuk and Lions City Sailors. Like those three teams looked really, really good, and it wasn't particularly close, right? The one-to-one close match being Sydney FC and Bangkok. The reverse fixture of that one was really, really enjoyable. I thought, 3-2 win for Sydney FC to move on. But yeah, the East didn't really have that much drama compared to the West. It was very straightforward for the most part.
I think Bangkok United got a red card in the return leg, which ultimately cost them the game against Sydney. Okay, so the quarterfinals. Let's do what we did. Say what we did. Like I can't even speak. Let's do it like we did for the ACL Elite. I'll go through the games, and you guys can predict it. Tractor versus Ottawa. I'll go with Tractor. Arya.
I already know Kenta's going to try and be different and go out Taiwan. I don't even think we need to ask him that. I'll go Tractor as well, but if Van's going to pull off some bullshit, they're not winning. That's not going to work a second time. But they've been very good throughout the whole tournament. It was really that one game that they just played where they were, I guess you can technically say, poor. Uh, yeah, it's going to be very close. I think it's not going to be a case of one team being dominating the other. We'll see. What about you, Kento?
I just don't want to go three in a row. It's just so boring if we all pick the same team. You guys both picked Tractor, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll tell it, but it's not that I want to.
but is that what you really do feel though, or
I feel like it's going to be very close. I feel like it might come down to PK shootout. And again, if we go back to original, like they're hosting the second leg, so that they have that competitive edge, in terms of who's slightly ahead in terms of if it goes to a PK shootout or extra time. Like who has the advantage? It's probably the home
yeah,
side. So
yeah,
I mean, Bayer Vandar is decent at saving penalties. He might not be too good on the pitch, but he's good at saving penalties, so we'll give him
yeah.
that. Then there's an all Emirati derby, Shah Blahli versus Shahjahan. This is the tie of the round for me. I mean, they're competing in the league. They're competing in the League Cup. I saw a tweet just yesterday. They're going to be playing each other 5 times in the space of 1 month, I think. So there's the ACL 2 first leg, the second leg, the League Cup first leg, and the League Two second leg. So 5 times in the space of a month.
That's crazy.
That's insane, yeah. And yeah, they're the first and second teams in the UAE. Uh, I'll go with the Shah Al Ahly one. Are you?
I don't want Shawwal to go through. Fuck Sada Azmoun. I'm gonna be Sharjah all the way. I will be successfully hate watching that game. Hopefully.
I think you've just jinxed yourself there, man. I will go on the Osman train, and he's gonna carry his season to
God.
victory across two legs.
I'm gonna be honest with
Uh,
you. I think Shabab Ali is gonna end up winning, but I don't want them to win. It's just that I just don't want them to win. I don't want to see Osmoon happy. Which actually, speaking of Osmoon, F1, you met him just a few days ago. So tell us how that went.
yeah, it was in the press conference after their game versus Al Wahdat, and yeah, he was the best player, so he was attending the press conference and after the press conference. Thanks to a mutual friend, I was able to speak with him for like 20 seconds and get the picture with him. That's it. But yeah, nice to see him.
Cool.
Yeah, moving on to the East region, Sanfrecce Hiroshima versus Lions City Sailors. Yeah, I think the dream is over for Lions City. Sorry, but I think Hiroshima's going through. Kenta?
Yeah, I can't bet against them for Hiroshima right now. They look so good. They have a great depth in their roster as well
Yeah.
across the board. So it's hard for me not to bet for them. So I'm gonna go Sanfrecce Hiroshima.
All right. So should I go to Kenta route and just say we can't go three in a row, or should I just be unbiased and just be like, let's be honest, Sanfrecce Hiroshima is gonna win. Um, I do hope Lion City do put up a fight because they deserve it. Like they've been very good, but I just think Sanfrecce Hiroshima as a team itself is just much better than Lion City. But you never know. This could be a surprising one. You never know with knockout stage football, especially in Asia where genuinely anything can happen. Anything can affect anything. One wrong referee decision or one penalty or something like that just changes the whole atmosphere. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But no, I think Sanfrecce Hiroshima is going to be the winner here.
Yeah, so 3-3 there. Last tie, Jean-Buck versus Sydney. Sydney haven't been doing too well in the league, and Jean-Buck, I think they started the K-League with a win. So I'll go with Jean-Buck winning this tie. Arya?
Oh, it was me. Sorry. Uh, mm, yeah, I agree with you there. Sydney FC. I think the Australian team just in general haven't looked all that great recently. I think I'll give it to John Buck. I think that's what's going to happen.
I'll go Sydney FC. I think the Korean teams and the ACL competitions continue to struggle. Jeonbuk, you have to remember last year in K League, like they were one of the teams in the relegation zone. They had to play relegation playoff to stay up in K1. This is not a team that's been in the greatest form by any stretch of the imagination. Sure, they have a lot of quality on their team considering K League team, but Sydney FC haven't looked great, but they haven't looked bad either. They're sitting mid table in A League. I like their chances. I know their team's gonna fans are gonna come out to support their home fixture, and again they host the second one, so second leg. So
We'll
crazy
see.
things have happened. Yeah.
We'll see.
Also, I want to mention two Iranians are the top scorers of this tournament, by the way. Hosseinzadeh and Azmoun.
Hey.
Azmoun
Actually, no.
are tied at 8
Boo!
points.
Boo!
We asked
Boo!
the question about this to Azmoun yesterday at the press conference. He said that he doesn't care about scoring goals. He just wants success for his team. He said, "What's the point if I score a million goals but I don't win a trophy?" So I think
Wait,
I
wait,
think he was
wait.
lying a bit there, but
You want to
we'll
see my
see.
reaction? My reaction to that right there, literally, is this. This is my reaction right here. Wait, where is it? This is my reaction. This is my reaction to what Osman just said. Because I don't believe that one bit, bro. Come on. Actually, I want to give a shout out, and I think Kent and I we were speaking about this not long ago. Maxime Lestien for Lion City. He was very, very good. I think he's the top assister, if I'm not mistaken, from Belgium. You guys might have heard him. He's played in Europe um, quite a bit. I think he's been very, very good as well. I think he's on par with Osmoon in terms of goals and assists. But I, you might as might call me biased. I still think the player of the tournament so far has to be Hussein Zadeh. He's also played fewer games than the others. He's the only one that looks just very, very good.
Okay, so moving on from club football, let's go over to the U20 Asian Cup, which is taking place right now. in the city of Shenzhen in China. So Arya, can you take us through the group stages?
Yes, of course. So there's only four groups. So there's not 10 groups to go through, which is pretty good. We'll go with Group A. Australia finished on top with 9 points and a 7 goal difference. Then we've got China, which I think have been very, very solid, qualifying second with 6 points. Qatar and Kyrgyzstan, unfortunately, not making it. Kyrgyzstan with a minus 11 goal difference and 0 points. One of the worst teams in the tournament. For Group B, we've got Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Jordan, and North Korea. I was expecting North Korea to do a lot better. I don't know. They weren't that well, especially with how good their youth football has been recently. Saudi Arabia has been very good. 6 points. That was enough to be first and to take them through. Iraq finished second with 5 points, and Jordan, unfortunately, not making it very narrowly, which is a shame. For Group C, we've got Iran, Uzbekistan, which we've played them a million times in the past 5 days. Indonesia, Yemen, Iran with a plus 10 goal difference. 9 points as well, all three games won. I guess we're gonna go more in detail with these games. Uzbekistan finishing second with 6, and then Indonesia, Yemen both finishing on 1 point, but Indonesia, the minus 5 goal difference was enough to put them third. And then Group D, very spicy group. I know Kenta has a lot to say about that as well. South Korea finishing top with 7 points. Japan with 5 points. And Syria with a commendable effort. But yeah, they didn't have what it takes to go through. 2 points for them, and then Thailand, which have been disappointing. Now that I'm looking at it, yeah, I think Kyrgyzstan have definitely been the worst. No points, minus 11. Have they even scored a goal in this tournament? Let me see. I don't think they have. No, they have. They've scored. They've scored 3 goals. Okay, cool. What do you guys think? I guess let's go. Do you guys want to go per game or per group? What are we doing here?
I think we'll go per group.
Okay.
So, okay, Group A, I guess I'll start. Uh, so Australia started up with a 5-1 win against Kyrgyzstan. Looked very good. China beat Qatar 2-1. Um, and so, yeah, not much surprise this year. Uh, and then Qatar lost 3-1 to Australia. So Australia with another good performance. China destroyed Kyrgyzstan 5-2. And in the last match day, China played Australia for the top spot. Australia managed to win 2-1.
Mhm.
And then Qatar beat Kyrgyzstan 4-0. So, yeah, not much surprises, Kenta. Anything you'd like to mention?
Yeah, obviously Kyrgyzstan just kind of shot themselves in the foot whenever they played. They had two red cards. The China game comes to mind immediately. The second match day, straight out of halftime, you're only down a goal, and you immediately can see you give up a draw red card. I guess that's the proper terminology there. The second yellow card in the 46th minute of the match, and all of a sudden you're down a man for the rest of the half. I mean, that's arguably the worst way to go to start a second half. So. Um, they never seemed like they were in it, and they also didn't help themselves on the field either when they had the opportunities to. So, really disappointing by them. Qatar, I think it's to be expected that they aren't performing well at the youth level. They just aren't as good as Australia and China have. And China's been very good at the youth level recently. Um, and so I don't think the table is any really surprising at all. I think the results are to be expected, and yeah, just really disappointed from Kyrgyzstan.
Yeah, we were both talking about Australia as well yesterday or last night, Kenta. Where we were kind of talking about the team itself. The attack looked very, very good. They look very, very dangerous. Um, there's a little bit of an unbalance between the attack and the rest of the team, which could cost them potentially. But I think it's a case of if they want to go far, they're just going to have to score far more goals. Um, but yeah, Erfan, what about you? Is there anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, you mentioned their defense. Yeah, they didn't keep a single clean sheet, even though they topped the group. I also want to talk about the Kyrgyzstan China game. Yeah, Kenta is right. Yeah, the red card was very dumb, and they were actually in the game even with a red card. They scored when they had a red card until the 80th minute when they conceded the goal, and then one more also towards injury time. So yeah, unfortunate for them. Group B. Group B with three teams from the West and North Korea. Iraq drew North Korea 1-1. Saudi Arabia beat Jordan 1-0 in a very unfortunate game for Jordan. And that I think that can be said for all of Jordan's games, except for against North Korea, of course. Jordan they managed to beat North Korea 2-1. North Korea put a lot of pressure towards Jordan towards the end, but the two goals from Sabra, from Ibrahim Sabra, were enough to get them the 3 points. Iraq beat Saudi Arabia 1-0. Also a very close game, and Iraq got a red card, I think, towards the 80th minute. Saudi Arabia had so many chances. Talal Haji, I think he's like 17 years old. He had a very good chance towards the end. I don't know how he missed that. Some Saudis were very frustrated after that, and rightly so. Iraq versus Jordan. Uh, Iraq also got a red card in this game as well, I think, but Jordan couldn't manage to score. They needed that one goal to qualify. Iraq held on well, and they went into the next round. Saudi Arabia defeated North Korea 2-1. And yeah, like you guys said, disappointing campaign for North Korea.
Yeah, I think this is the group where it was like I guess the closest between the top three here. Jordan are really going to kick themselves in the foot. It's really unfortunate, but that's typical AFC tournaments, right? There's always going to be that one group that has a very close, uh, you know, campaign. It's unfortunate. It could have been Iraq, it could have been Jordan. It was Jordan this time. Saudi played very well. I'm not going to say I was expecting them to not make it. I was expecting them to make it through, but I really liked some of the players. I really did. Good on them, man. Kenta?
Yeah, I found this group when I was previewing it to be the most difficult to predict. I didn't know who was going to make it out, who was going to get knocked out. And I thought it was an opportunity for a team like North Korea, who are could have been that kind of dark horse to make some chaos, and they really didn't. They didn't put up a fight really compared to the other three teams, which was very disappointing. You go back to Jordan in that first match day. It was just a very poor goal to concede straight out of halftime for them against Saudi Arabia, and that was the difference. They lost 1-0 in that match, and if you don't flip off in that first minute because you conceded under 60 seconds in that match and you don't concede that goal, you're looking at what shared points, and this table looks entirely different. So it's a very disappointing thing. I think it's a great learning experience for players, but it was a very close group. It was a very close group. Hard to predict.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Group C, Iran finished top, Uzbekistan second, Indonesia and Yemen with 1 point each. So the games, Uzbekistan defeated Yemen 1-0. Yemen could have gotten a penalty towards the end of that game. I watched that game. Very unfortunate not to get a point. Very unlucky. Iran beat Indonesia 3-0. Domination. Nothing much to say. Speaking of domination, then they then went on to defeat Yemen 6-0. One of the Yemen defenders got a very dumb and unnecessary red card towards the beginning of the game, and I think that just destroyed every hope they had. It was very dumb. I know the players are young, but you have to act professionally, especially at a tournament like this where just 3 or 4 games could get you to the World Cup. Um, so then, yeah, after that, Uzbekistan beat Indonesia 3-1. They struggled a bit in the first half, but they were good in the second. Iran beat Uzbekistan 2-1. A very rotated Iran side actually beat Uzbekistan 2-1. And then Indonesia, Yemen, 0-0 draw left China. And one thing I want to mention before I get to you guys, there's been two players who've scored in every game so far. They're Esmail Gholizadeh from Iran and Muhammad Ali Orenbo from Uzbekistan. So interesting race for the Golden Boot there. Arya?
Yeah, we'll get through the individual players and such a bit later. I wanted to ask what you guys think, who was the best player, the worst performer, and all that. I guess we'll get that in a bit. No, yeah, Iran were very good. I wasn't worried about Indonesia and Yemen, to be honest. I think those were very expected wins. The Uzbekistan game was the game where I was like, okay, well, if we do win it convincingly, or if we get a good win, I could see us winning the whole thing. They're the reigning champs, by the way. Let's not forget that. So that all happened until I saw the lineup where it was a completely rotated squad. And I was like, oh, I should have expected that. Then I was like unsure. I mean, if you notice, you were in a group, you're in a group chat, you and I. I'm just like, I don't know if we're gonna win or something. I'm like, all right, well, let's just see what happens. And no, they won. They won they won very, very well. It was a very good performance. I do think towards the end, the players just died. Like, well, half of the players were down. They couldn't continue. I want to give a huge shout out to one of the greatest players of all time, Puya Sharabadi. He's so good. Hit the post at the end. And the reason why I want to give him a shout out is because he has just an amazing profile picture on SofaScore. I'm trying to find it here. I can't find it. This is very annoying. Hold on a second. There he is. I want you guys to let me know what do you guys think about this profile picture. I think it's a very very good profile picture right here. What do you guys think about this profile picture? His face is just squeezed in. I want to give
Yeah,
a shout out
I've got a better.
to
Yeah, here it is.
what is this, man? What is this? No, but in all seriousness, I'll get back to being serious. Very, very good performance. And it was a rotated squad. I wasn't expecting them to play that well, and they were. And we're facing Japan next, which we're gonna get into in a little bit. So, as for the other sides, yeah, Indonesia and Yemen. Yemen were a bit unlucky. Um, and Uzbekistan just was Uzbekistan. Really, there's not much really else to add to that. What do you guys think, or what does Kenta think?
Straightforward group. Not much more to be said. I guess. I thought Iran were very impressive in their match against Uzbekistan, despite, like I said, rotated squad. But yeah, there's just not much more to be said there, is there?
What
Yeah,
are your thoughts on
Kenta.
Puya Sharabadi? What are your thoughts on him? You think he's an amazing player?
No comment.
Cool.
Kenta, I think you can now move on to Group D and tell us what you think of Japan's performances
This is
mainly.
all you, buddy. This is all you.
Oh
You've
my
watched
gosh.
every
I'm
game.
gonna preface this by saying Group D matches ended about 8 hours ago, and I'm still not like fully recovered from just the whole experience there. Yeah, Group D ended. South Korea finishing top, Japan finishing second, Syria and Thailand getting knocked out. If we go through the matches here, let me pull them up so I don't mess this up. Yeah, South Korea beat Syria 2-1 on the first match. So Japan beat Thailand 3-0. And I was like, okay, we're doing well. And then Japan and Syria drew 2-2 on the second match day. South Korea beat Thailand 4-1. So Japan needed at least a draw in this upcoming match, and they did get that. They drew South Korea 1-1 today, and then Syria drew Thailand 2-2, eliminating both sides. Look, Japan, I'll start there. Uh, Very underwhelming. There's just no way to say it. They were up for a majority of the match, and they conceded in stoppage time. It was just not the good vibes that you would expect, right? You dominated the match, got the goal that you needed, up 1-0, and then you're just not doing enough, and you concede a goal in the 91st minute, and now you're relying on a result from Syria and Thailand to go in your favor, which it did. Right, Syria. If Syria had won, it gets a bit scarier there, in terms of the total points in the group. But yeah, I thought Syria played very well. I thought they were very unlucky to come away with only 2 points despite how they played in this group. Um, South Korea played all right, all things considered, and Japan were the ones that were very, very underwhelming. And I am nervous about how the knockouts will go if this is how this team's going to perform in the group stage.
I guess we'll get on to the knockouts in just a bit. Before I want to ask, yeah, what do you guys think was the best team, worst team, best players? Any surprising stuff that happened or dark horses? I guess I'll let Erfan go first.
Um, Best team, I think we can all agree was Iran, probably Iran or Australia. But I think Iran, just purely based on the fact that they had a rotated squad and still beats the defending champions. And Australia's defense is a bit shaky. Worst team, yeah, Kyrgyzstan. Um, I
Unfortunately.
would say so. Yeah, unfortunately for them. Dark horse, even though they didn't qualify for the next round, I'll still go with Syria because I watched their game versus Japan and wow, they were very unlucky to not come off with a win there. And yeah, Japan did have more of the ball; they did attack, but they're Japan; they kind of expected. And yeah, best player Erfan Hoseiny, I think.
Mm.
Kenta, what do you think?
I'll go with a different top player just so we're not repeating each other. I'll go Kim Tae-young of South Korea. Came off the bench today to score that 91st minute goal for South Korea. Had a brace in the second match day and assist in the first match day. Like he's looked fantastic for them. He's been the central attacking piece for that South Korean side. And if they're gonna make noise this tournament, it's gonna center around him putting the ball in the back of the net and helping others do the same. I thought he was very impressive. Most disappointing would be Japan for me. I think the most impressive has been Iran, as you've mentioned. Uh, Again, Australia deserves a shout there as well, but I think Iran just fundamentally in every match played just really good. And you talk about how they rotated their team in the final match day, and they still got a result against the best other team in their group. That's very impressive for them. Um, yeah, Syria also very impressive. It's a shame that they aren't moving on. Um, as one that's kept a really close eye on the Group D, I thought they played significantly better than the 2 points that they have on there in the table. I guess they were very impressive.
That leaves it with me. Yeah, I guess I'll have to give it to Iran. Again, like Kenta said, Australia I think deserves a shout there. The worst team or most disappointing team. I guess the worst team, yeah, goes to Kyrgyzstan. The most disappointing team. I mean, I think Kenta you're being a little too harsh on Japan. Um, I don't think they were disappointing. Sure, they didn't play up to standards, but I wouldn't say they were necessarily bad. I think for me, the disappointing team would be, in a sense, because again, a 1-1 draw against South Korea isn't like a technically a bad result. I mean, it's South Korea. It's really only the Syria game that was disappointing. Uh, for me, it's North Korea. I don't know why. I just expected so much more from North Korea, but I don't know if that's just a me problem or if you guys agree. I expected way more from North Korea. They just didn't. They just didn't deliver. For the top players, yeah, I guess Nourizadeh was very good. Urimbayev from Uzbekistan. Kim Tae-won's been very good as well, man. I think all three of those players deserves their their um their flowers. Um,
Shout out also, sorry Arya for interrupting, but
yeah.
shout out Mubin Dehqan. Been very vital in Iran's midfield. So just want to mention him.
Let's get on to the knockouts now. And the knockout stages where okay, well, for some reason, SofaScore is not showing this. Give me 1 second just to get through this. Okay, cool. So we've got Australia playing Iraq. That's the first game. After we've got Saudi playing China. Then we've got the next day would be Iran, Japan, which I think is the game to watch. And then you've got South Korea, Uzbekistan as well. So I guess we'll just go with our predictions. I don't know. I mean, it's very hard to predict. It's under 20. We're not the experts in this. But it's anything can go wrong at any given time. So yeah, Australia, Iraq. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first,
Yeah.
I guess.
Okay.
Sorry, Kenta, would you like to go
No,
first?
you got it. You got it. You got it.
Okay. I'll go with Australia. Uh, I think for this tie, it's gonna be Australia's very good attack versus Iraq's very good defense. And yeah, it's going to be a close game, but I think Australia will edge it.
Also, sorry to interrupt. I just want to make this clear. This is very important. I don't know how I missed it. The top teams, the four teams basically the teams that are about to win will be qualified for the under 20 Asian Cup. So there is going to be a world where one of
Under 20
Iran,
World
Japan,
Cup.
South Korea,
Yeah.
yeah, there is going to be there is a possibility where we don't see one of Australia, Iran, Japan, South Korea, Uzbekistan, Saudi not make it to the World Cup. That is a possibility. Sorry, Kenta, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll also go Australia. You mentioned it's a battle of attack versus defense here, which means the midfield battle is ever so crucial in a match like that, right? And there's a midfield in Australia, Alexander Badolato, I think his name is, recently got a transfer within the A League. He's just fantastic. He's one of the best midfielders at this tournament, and I think that the individual quality there with a player like him is enough to kind of push Australia over the edge in a fixture here. So great form so far in this tournament, plus the individual quality in the midfield. Give me Australia for this fixture.
Saudi versus China.
What about your prediction, Arya?
Oh, I didn't say mine. Yeah, Australia. I think it's Australia. Sorry, I thought I did. Yeah, Australia. I think will win. I think we'll win. Yeah. Now
So
let's move on. Now
yeah.
let's move on to Saudi versus China.
Um, I'm gonna go with China. Just
Really?
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with China. I mean, they're the host. Maybe, and there isn't VAR until the semifinals, so maybe you might see some refereeing decisions in their favor. I don't know. We never know. But yeah, I'll go with China to beat Saudi.
That's a bold prediction, but I don't disagree with it because it can happen. Because like I said, Saudi Arabia, they're good, but I don't think they're insanely good. I think China have been impressive as well. This is going to be a lot closer. And you said there's a home advantage as well for China. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'll give it to China. Why not? Let's go with the hosts. Here's Kenta to ruin the day and say Saudi Arabia.
No, I'm actually going China too. And my reasoning behind it is you look at their attack, and I'm pretty sure they have three, if not four players on their team that already have multiple goals in the group stage. And to me, that spread of attack is really key, and the fact that they're getting goals from multiple players. A lot of times in these U20, U23, U17 tournaments, everything gets focused around one player. And can they score becomes the fundamental kind of. And teams can double and triple team these players in hopes of just stopping them to prevent an entire team from scoring. With China, you're not going to be able to do that. When you have so many different players scoring goals, that becomes fundamentally significantly more difficult to try to stop. Plus the home field advantage, they're playing on home turf, they're not in a foreign country. All the factors are going in their favor. Give me China in this fixture. Uh, yeah, I like that pick.
That's Japan China peace talks right there from Kenta Hagiwara, ladies and gentlemen. That was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful speech by the man. I'll go Iran Japan last because I want to wait. Did everyone do their predictions? Hold on. Okay, I just want to make sure. I'll put the Iran Japan game last because I know we're gonna have a discussion on that. South Korea Uzbekistan is going to be a very 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 close game. Um, I've seen lots of people saying, both South Korea and Japan haven't been the most impressive, and that I guess Uzbekistan or Iran can capitalize off of that, which I would tend to agree. I think this is going to be a very very close game. My prediction. This is generally impossible to predict. I don't know. I generally don't know. I don't know. Um,
I'll go first.
yeah, go first,
Yeah,
please.
I'm gonna go Uzbekistan for a couple reasons, and I think it's less about Uzbekistan, more about South Korea.
Okay.
Um, Going leading into this, they played a couple friendlies, and those were matches that I also paid attention to. They played the USA, their U20 team in like late 2024, and it nothing clicked there. I'm not saying that USA and Uzbekistan are the same type of team in terms of how they play stylistically,
Practical
but I
practical manager would disagree there, but continue.
they are not. They are not fundamentally the same kind of teams from a tactical standpoint. But I think even watching today's game, um, I think South Korea, from a goal perspective, are all around Kim Tae-won, and it's either he scores, he creates goals, or it doesn't happen at all. Polar opposite to China, I guess, in that sense. And I just don't have that much confidence in him. I thought Uzbekistan played very well in the group stage as well to kind of give them that upper edge, but I'm just not coming into this one that confident about South Korea. So I'm gonna have to give it to Uzbekistan for this fixture.
Do you want me to go second, Arya?
Sure, go for it.
Okay, so I'll go with South Korea actually. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That
I'm doing
leaves
this
me
to you,
with
Arya.
the ultimate pick.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
So
Thanks.
and yeah, yeah, I get what Kenta means, but I don't know, man. Uzbekistan. I know South Korea rely on Kim Tae-won for goals, but I think it's similar for Uzbekistan and Orenbaev
Uruguay.
because yeah, Orenbaev because they had no threat on Iran's goal until he came on for them, and uh, they've not been looking as good as defending champions should. They struggled against Yemen, against Indonesia up until the second half, and yeah, they did get 6 points, but I don't know if that tells the whole story. And yeah, South Korea also, they could have done better, but in the first two games they were pretty good, especially against Thailand. So I'm going to go with South Korea to advance.
Well, it comes back to me again. Thanks, guys. I like Kenta's reasoning. I really like F1's reasoning as well but the thing with Kenta's reasoning is we're going pretty a little far back here. Um, and it is true that relying on a single player isn't necessarily the best thing to do, but I think both teams are going to be doing that, just like Erfan said. Um, I don't think Uzbekistan have been that great either. I mean, yeah, I think I purely based off an eye test, I think South Korea have been better to watch as a team than Uzbekistan. So I would go with South Korea, but like again, if Uzbekistan won, it's not a surprise either. So I'd go South Korea just because of what I've seen so far. Um, yeah, and that leaves us with the ultimate game, I guess, the battle of the Asian football show. We got one man from Japan and two guys from Iran. Um, so this is going to be a little. You're going to be outnumbered here, Kenta. Unfortunately, maybe we can bring Jose Kijima on for another for another podcast episode. No, I'm joking. Yeah, Iran, Japan. I think that's going to be the game everyone's going to be watching. I don't want to go first. I'm going to let you guys go first.
I'll
Yeah, I'll
go.
go first. Oh, no,
Okay,
I'm gonna go
Kenta, no,
first.
no, Kenta. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no world where Iran don't win this. There's no way Iran don't win this. It's 100%. Lock it in. It's a lock. Iran are winning against Japan. Japan have been underwhelming. Iran have been the best team in the tournament. There's fundamentally no way that Iran don't win this.
Okay.
It would be the worst fumble in the history of sports if Iran get knocked out by Japan at this
That's
point in
what
the
we're
tournament.
known for.
But exactly, that's what we're known for. That's what I was gonna say. It's like that's cool. We're top scorer, cool. We've got the top assister, cool. We got the best goal difference, cool. We went the best team, cool. But we have no freaking mentality, and I think that's what's gonna be our downfall. Now I'm not gonna. I'm still gonna pick Iran over Japan because it's my home country. But like, I don't think it's gonna be a surprise if Japan beat us, to be honest, because it's just Iran being Iran, right? Where I mean, we've seen that in the Asian Cup. We beat you guys, and then we freaking lost to Qatar. It's like I wouldn't be surprised if it does happen here again. Um, so I guess yeah, you can say Iran are technically the favorites because of how they played. You can't count Japan out. You can never count Japan out. You just can't. That's just there's no world where that's a possibility. So I think Japan. I mean, I think they're going to be well aware that they're probably playing the best team. I think they're going to bring in everybody. Um, they're gonna play their best game. But I guess I'll give it to Iran just because it's my home country. But I don't think it would be impossible for Japan to win it because we're just fumblers, man. We fumble games. This is the sort of games where we always fumble. Have fun.
Okay, so yeah, it's February, Iran topped their group. Japan are second in a group where they're expected to be first. And it's the quarterfinal of an Asian Cup. I think I've seen this story before. I think I've
Yeah,
seen it. And
exactly.
I think Iran will win this. Hopefully they do. And yeah, I'll go with Iran. Nothing more than that.
All right, cool. So that's the AFC under 20. Obviously, guys, we physically can't cover the rest of the games. We're going to come back to this after the tournament is over in the March episode. I don't think there's anything else to talk about the AFC under 20. It's been a very exciting tournament so far. I will add this. It's been very, very cool to watch. And now we're going to be moving on to the She Believes Cup, which Fun and I don't have much to say. So, Kenta, the stage is all yours, my man.
Oh yeah, She Believes Cup. It's the 10th anniversary of the tournament held in the U.S. between four women's national teams, including Japan and first-timers Australia. It's going to be held on the west coast of the USA, in Texas, and then Arizona, and then finishing in San Diego, California. Uh, it's going to be a good look for Australia. Obviously, Sam Kerr, that whole story is going on. She has not been called up to the Matildas this time around. But Tom Serrani, the I guess technically speaking interim head coach of the Australian national team here, spoke about her, and it sounds like she's going to be integrated into the squad in the coming months, and potentially might be a call up in the next window when they have friendlies. I think in like April or something. Maybe it's May. So maybe that's a conversation that Australia will come back to at that point. I think they'll have a good look at this USA team. I think that'll be a good matchup for them as well as Japan. I think Japan and the Matildas always have great matchups when they play. And as for Nadeshiko Japan, Niels Nielsen, the head coach, it's the first match under a new head coach, which is always something to keep an eye on, especially with a national team that's the top 10 ranked by FIFA in the world right now. Uh, it look, I don't know what to expect. I wish I had more info on this after Futoshi, Ikeda Futoshi left the Nadeshiko team and went to, I think, Thailand as their new coach. Um, I'm not sure what the tactical look will look like under Nielsen. I don't know what players are going to be favored, but the She Believes Cup, the good thing with it, it's just 3 matches. You don't have a ton of time to recover and rest in between matches. So a player like, yes, Maika Hamano, I think that it's a good opportunity for players that are younger players that have been called up. I'm not saying that Micah hasn't had national team experience. She certainly has. But for those players to get more minutes and to get acclimated with the new system and the new head coach and to see what they can bring to the national team stage, I think the She Believes Cup is one of my favorite competitions. I've been very vocal about it. It's an incredible tournament. It's very uplifting in trying to promote women's sports here in the U.S. U.S. women's national team does a phenomenal job putting it together every year. I'm really disappointed that I won't be on scene for this one. I have been at the last 2 editions, the last 2 years. But look, I think having 2 Asian teams will be a really cool way of promoting the Asian game as well. So something to keep an eye on. But yeah, it's going to be a fun tournament. Check it out if you have the opportunity to. But yeah, Japan and Australia will be playing Colombia and the U.S. women's national team starting today or Thursday, February 20th, I guess, in terms of the day that we're recording this. That would have already passed by the time this goes out. But yeah.
Yeah. I want to mention, is there anything you want to say about the She Believes Cup? Because there's two other friendly tournaments I think we forgot to mention. But
No,
I'll
no, no. Just made a best team win. That's it.
and the best team win, yeah. So there's two more friendly tournaments for women's football. There's the 2025 Penatar Cup, which is taking place in Spain. China and Chinese Taipei will be participating along with Canada and Mexico. And then there's also the 2025 Pink Ladies Cup, which is taking place in the UAE. It's weird how I didn't know about this first time I'm hearing of it. They've done a very bad job promoting it, I guess. So yeah, there's actually 5 Asian teams participating here. Wow. So it's South Korea, India, Thailand, Jordan, Uzbekistan, and one European team, which is Russia. So yeah, lots of women's football going on. Speaking of women's football, let's move on to women's futsal. The KAFA Women's Futsal Championship took place in Tajikistan, and Iran won. They've won all of the editions before. They continued this time. They
Oh,
won, yeah, 4 games, and they had a
nice.
plus 32 goal difference. Arya, I think you have something to say about
That's
that.
32 goal difference, blood. Do you know what I'm talking about? No, but honestly, I mean, cool. That's just really all I have to say. I don't think Kenta has anything else to add. One more thing I would like to add before we end off today's episode is if anyone has followed the under 17 development cup, I think Iran's under 17 team was there. I don't know if there's another Central Asian team. I'm not sure.
I
So
think
don't quote me.
Tajikistan is there. I'm pretty sure
Tajikistan
Tajikistan is
is
there.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Iran's under 17 team has been terrible, terrible, like concerning terrible, like wow, terrible, bro. Um, they've lost all their games. It's just bad. Which is scary for the upcoming tournaments. We'll see how that goes out, but I will. Ignore their existence if they keep on performing like this. I've said this to Kenta before. I'm saying it to you, Erfan. I'm saying it to the Asian Football Show audience. Do not come at me with tweets about the under 17 side. We will not be there. I will not be there. I will not answer you.
I will not be there as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I
Um,
asked him to Kenta.
ask it to Kenta. Yeah, Kenta can answer it. DM Kenta with beautiful messages, guys.
Please don't.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for today's episode. We have a very exciting interview as well that we're gonna have Erfan.
Yeah, I'll be interviewing Xavier Godwin of Al Akhdud in the Saudi League on Saturday. So expect that to be up in around a week or so. So yeah, uh, Arya.
Cool. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, listening on Spotify, and anything else, make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and all that good stuff. Rate us as well. It helps us a ton. Thank you guys so much for your support. So glad to be back, and we're going to be continuing with this in the next episode. Yeah.